With the United Nations Millennium Development Goals deadline closing in, which targeted addressing issues relating to poverty, environment, health and education, among others, a way forward needs to be mapped ahead of the time for continuity of the initiative, which is now moving towards corporate sustainability.
The Millennium Development Goals had a target of 2015, and that's just a couple years away. So the UN is looking at the status of where we stand on some of these issues, and in some goals we had greater success, in others not as much. So we're looking at where were those successes, what did those formula look like, and trying to assure that the future of the UN agenda around development and sustainability is sort of combined. So there's not many different tracks. It's one track kind of combining and coalescing all of these global issues into one targeted, way forward. And an important way to do so is assure that you're having the perspectives of all stakeholders. The Millennium Development Goals, did not necessarily, for example, have the input of the private sector when they were being developed, whereas private sector in many cases are critical to actually achieving these goals.
The United Nations, in partnership with the Global Compact Network, creates a platform where businesses share best practices related to the MDGs and also dialogue on challenges and solutions within their business operating environments.
Now, the Global Compact is the world's largest CSR initiative that was established just after 2000 by business and with the support of the UN. And the Global Compact is basically represents 10 principles that business should choose to respect as part of their own CSR work. Respect for human rights in the workplace, respect for labor rights for the employees, respect for environment and environmental conservation and support and sustainable work. And the fourth one is on fighting corruption and anti-corruption. So those four areas are covered in 10 principles, and businesses are encouraged to demonstrate and to report how they're complying with those principles in their work.
In Kenya, through local networks like the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, businesses are able to use a yardstick set from which they can gauge their practices based on other companies' insights from across the globe.
The Kenyan private sector, we established the local network in 2007 formally, and it's actually it's become quite active. In addition to teachings and learnings and seminars on all the different principles, anti-corruption, respect for human rights and labor rights, and environmental conservation, there's actually a lot that we've done. Last year, the Kenya network established and signed up, and got members to sign up on a code for business ethics, which is basically their own way of sharing and at least indicating that their commitment to working on systems of integrity within their businesses.
Sure, it's dialogue, but it's more sharing practices, best practices. So what are our local networks doing with companies in the region? So we'll hear of local networks that are bringing different companies together in a particular region to address water scarcity, or to address children's rights, or to address a number of different issues. So we're going to hear from companies some tangible steps that they're actually taking to address these issues. So rather than it being, what we could all potentially do together, it's learning from, this is what we're doing right now in South Africa, and this is something that you could do in your country as well. That's, we agree that learning and dialogue are very important to understand these issues and how one can best contribute, but moving to a phase of action and actually taking steps together, but either in partnership or within your sphere of influence to assure that you're addressing these issues in practical terms is really the way forward.
As the world prepares to usher in corporate sustainability on the closing in of the Millennium Development deadline, the business community is increasingly realizing that doing well in whichever business environment they operate in is equally good for their businesses.